You guys, I am missing a very important new call for this, so I hope that this is a good podcast and we have productive thoughts and that Brian Deach has at least one your mom joke.
We won't have that, but
This is
we can
definitely going to be a top 10 episode.
Hello, my friends.
Thank you for joining us for the PEBCAK Podcast, a weekly information security show featuring some all-around good people. It is week 8 of 2025. I'm Chris Louie, and finally figured out what to do with the kids for summer camp. With me, I have my co-host, the Cloud God, who sent his kids to the coal mines during their summers off.
And all 4 of them got the black lung. So what are you doing with your kids for summer camp then?
It's like a whole spreadsheet thing. It's like this week is dance camp, this week's basketball camp, this week's soccer camp, and it's...
Oh, damn.
You need like what's a Gantt chart? You need like a Gantt chart to be able to figure out what kid's going where for what week. It's crazy.
Dude, that's pretty amazing, man. I'm lucky to send the kids to one camp over the summer. That's more than enough for me.
Yeah, and there's a joke amongst parents, at least here in the Bay Area. They said, it is literally cheaper to go on vacation than to send your kids to a summer camp. And it is. Summer camp is dang expensive.
Bro, some of those people that do like travel club, like whatever sport, like it can get expensive. Like just it being able to travel out of the state, and then you look at like last minute hotels, last minute flights, like people are actually taking out loans to pay for it, like $20,000 a year per kid to do that kind of stuff. It's insane. I do not recommend it at all.
Yeah, I would not go into debt over that, but
My parents did that for a Disney trip.
dedication.
Hey, all right, now you can take them to Disney. What quote is this from? I think I got the black lung, Pop. You don't know?
No, you use it a lot on the show, but I don't know where the reference is
Zoolander?
Yeah, Zoolander. When he goes back to Pennsylvania, he's with his dad. He's like, "You've been in there for only 1 month or 1 day." Yeah. He's like, my only son, a mermaid, merman, father, merman.
Yeah.
All right, my gain's too high. You're gonna have to fun editing that, man. I'm sorry.
Sure, I will. And we do not have Glenn, who last minute canceled on us today. We hope everything's okay, Glenn.
Or not.
He's getting his taint checked from the stink to the spink.
Our guest this week is Brian's long lost son, the returning Kobe Caputo. It's been a year since
Kobe Beach.
Kobe Deach. It's been a year since Kobe joined us here at Zscaler and has become a part of the team. Welcome back, Kobe.
Well, thank you. Glad to be here.
What we need to do is get him in the group chat.
We have a group chat with him.
I know, but that's the
use
Black Hat one. That doesn't count. Yeah. He needs to be.
there's-
You need to like every day, 24/7. We'll throw you in there.
Oh, dear. Yeah, I'm Android. I don't think I can be added to that. Sorry, guys.
That's why it's on Signal, loser.
He doesn't want to be associated with us. He's going to get in trouble with his wife for the stuff we send in there.
Yeah.
No.
It's a lot
You'll
of
never
making
get in
fun of
trouble.
Canada, just so you
There,
know.
yes. And the group chat names as well.
I have no responsibility in the naming of that stuff, by the way.
Huh? Sure.
Combined, we have decades of information security experience, and here not just to educate, but to entertain. We've got 4 awesome stories for you this week, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. This week, we're going to talk about Apple bending the knee again, a recap of 2 past stories. For our third topic, it's lights out for scammers, and close with career death talk. For our first topic, Apple made 2 announcements this week, both greatly upsetting me. The first is the much hyped up Apple event this past Tuesday that Apple is dropping something new. It ended up being the iPhone 16e, which is a Wish.com or Temu version of their flagship smartphone, targeting the low-cost smartphone market.
Or like a next generation firewall. I can say that right now.
Can you though?
But anyways, whatever.
Can you though? It is interesting that they're coming out with their new routers though inside of them, or their new the actual 5G hardware. It's been rumored for a while, but it's finally here. They're not using Qualcomm anymore.
Oh, for the phones.
The phones, the 16E.
Not for the crappy firewall.
Yeah, well, that too. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
crappy firewalls with 5G in them.
Let's get, like, I sent this out. Like, I know you want to finish your topic here, but like, we'll just interrupt this and keep rolling. Like, the announcement, right? It looked like it was a new what are those things?
AirTag.
New AirTag.
Yeah.
I'm like, is it like synthetic metal? I don't understand what's going on right here. And this is the iPhone 16e for, what does the E stand for? Everybody doesn't want it? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's a good guess.
iPhone economic. Yeah.
Economic? Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Interesting.
I was hoping for like new iPads because I've been noticing the iPads have been discounted.
They've been
the
falling.
current Gen 1s.
Yep. Well, and I was actually hoping for a new Air because the current Airs are only on the M3 chip, not the
M3s,
M4.
yeah.
So
Yeah, they're going to have another event for the M4 Airs and the next gen iPads.
Exactly.
Well, their second announcement, and surprising absolutely nobody, Apple is ready to introduce their new AI assistant Apple Intelligence in China, but with a huge asterisk. Apple famously built an entire iCloud infrastructure inside mainland China to give the Chinese Communist Party, or the CCP, the ability to look at anyone's data and spy on their citizens. It was the cost to allow Apple to enter the Chinese market. Apple Intelligence will be released in China, but Chinese tech firm Alibaba has been contracted to scrub the AI output for censorship reasons. Apple Intelligence also utilizes Apple Private Compute for more compute-intensive queries to preserve user privacy. This is a little VM that runs in their cloud to run the query, and it doesn't mix data with anybody else. These queries in China will presumably have to run in private compute in a Chinese data center where the government can spy on the results and manipulate the output.
I feel like if you're using Apple Intelligence, you're like, hey, what is, I don't know, something that's not allowed to be mentioned in China?
Tiananmen Square,
what is it?
Winnie the Pooh.
Tiananmen Square, Winnie the Pooh, right? I feel like that interception will be so slow on all queries going into Apple Intelligence that it would probably be faster to book an international flight to San Francisco, land on U.S. soil, ask the question, fly back home, than it would be to leverage Apple Intelligence. But I could be wrong. They'll probably do it right, and by right, the CCP will still probably make it super slow. Like, it will be latent. It has to be.
I love how you brought up the physical aspect of that rather than just finding a way to manipulate your location. It was good.
Yeah. I mean, I do try to make my point in several things. I get in trouble with that a lot, by the way. Like, I try to go to very extreme examples of points, and to the point where I kind of get in trouble. By the way, I won't get into it too much here, but Chris knows a teeny bit about this, but there was something going on at the house and there was a third party involved, and I decided to kind of state my thoughts and opinions on this.
Oh, did you side with the third party?
No, like...
Brian was in the minority on his opinion.
Yes, like... I have two graves dug type of analogy here. I would say there was a really awkward 2 weeks, and then finally, the two parties, inside the house have been like, okay, we've talked to other people and gotten, we've outsourced our opinions and concerns, and everyone's like, nah, Brian did the right thing here. I was like, F yeah, I did. That's what I've been saying.
You crowdsourced your support.
I didn't do it. They did, because they were like really concerned. And I was
Yeah.
like, I don't think you guys understand what it's like being a dad.
I know,
And you never will.
that's
know
the
what
best
it's
when
like
it's
being your son.
unsolicited too.
What'd you say,
Said,
Kobe?
I know what it's like being your son.
Yes, you
Yeah.
do.
Long lost son.
Exactly.
Just thank God you're not my daughter, because then it's a little bit different.
That's the best when it's unsolicited, so they can't even claim like Brian only polled people that knew that you would side. Like, they never asked me because they know I'd side with you every time. But if they,
Oh, I did. I said, I was like, Chris and Glenn, despite being my friends, will call me on my BS. Like, I know you guys will. Like, if I'm wrong, you're gonna tell me I'm wrong. So
100%.
I said, hey guys, they're like, they get it. They're like, what was the clip? Den of Thieves?
Den of Thieves, yeah, the prom scene.
Yeah, you're like, play the clip from Den of Thieves with them. I was like, nah, like, they're not going to get it, right? And most certainly I played it for them. They're just like, don't get it. But,
play for literally any dad. Like, yeah, that's on point.
Exactly. All
yeah,
right.
spoken dad code.
Exactly. Yeah. Now I think enough people listening have an idea what we're talking about. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So going from intimidating prom dates to scrubbing the results. I think DeepSeek, you remember a couple of weeks ago, DeepSeek, the AI coming from China, they had to have done something similar, because when you would ask it questions like, what's the name of the famous picture of a man holding groceries standing in front of a tank? And then it'll start to say, like, this picture is called Tank Man. And then all of a sudden it like deletes and says, I'm not allowed to talk about this. Ask me something else. It's like
that was actually incredible how it
in real time.
Put his foot in his mouth and then corrected. Like, it was almost felt like I was at the dinner table with me. I'm like, shouldn't have said that. Never mind.
That.
Was that before or after it was discovered that there was a very large breach, like 3 days after it was released to the public?
Yeah, it was before.
I got it.
Yeah, it was before. Here, so let me tell the story that, why not, right? Like, we're not really doing a podcast right now. We're just friends
Apparently
talking.
not.
So we're at dinner, right? Celebrating my daughter's birthday. And for everyone that doesn't know, like, my two older daughters are not really mine. I've had them since they were 3 and 4. And their biological dad is a scumbag. Like, just, he has 15 kids in and out of prison.
Wow, more than Elon Musk.
Whatever. Yeah. But anyways, the entire time the kids are growing up, like, we went to great lengths to, like, protect him, because we thought if they thought he sucked, that maybe it would be harder on them. So, like, where's my dad? Oh, he's working. We didn't really want to say he's in prison, right? And then eventually got out of prison. They would see him, but it would always be, like, really weird. Like, he'd show up and he'd be in the house with them for like 2 minutes, and then he'd be like, leave. And like, they're like, where are you going, Dad? He's like, I'm going to talk to the president. And they're telling me this story after the fact. They're like, isn't that cool? My dad talks to the president. I'm like, it's so cool, honey. Yeah, he's just talking to the president. And then, religiously, right? Like, they have a very big belief. And like, they're like, my dad, he's going to heaven when he dies because he believes in Jesus. I was like, oh, okay. Like, what makes you think that? And they're like, oh, he's got the crown of thorns tattooed around his arm. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's exactly what that is. It was barbed wire. Like, it was that stupid tattoo. Right? And so we're all sitting around the table, like, laughing and telling these stories. And then I was like, yeah, remember that time when you got that birthday present? And then my wife's looking at me like, she had like this blank look in her face. And I was like, I'm looking at her. I'm like, I can't believe you remember. This is so funny. And so I was like, yeah, we thought it'd be a good idea to give you a present from your dad that was wrapped in like a newspaper or something like that. Like, that way it looks like he's coming from a prison. And so, like, I'm telling this, like, I'm all excited that we're just like, having a good time. And then my daughter, she goes from like laughing to like this, like, shut up. She's like, shut up. Like, and like just instant tears. She's like, this is the only thing that makes me even want to be around him today is that he remembered my birthday that 1 year. And I was like, oh. And then I was like, oh God, like this, like, for some reason I thought everyone knew this story. And I was just like, and then like the entire restaurant, it just gets quiet because like got this kid just like crying. I'm like, oh. I was like, and then my wife's like,
you're a bad father.
Dad of the year.
She was surprisingly okay with it. Like, she's like, but the worst part was, she's like, I still have that purse. Like, she holds on. She's like, I don't understand. She's like, I told him thank you for it, and he's like, yeah, anything for you, boo. Like, he didn't even know. Like, he's just on so many drugs or whatever. Like,
just
he had
playing
no clue.
it up. Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
Rare criminals can be like that. I don't know why you're surprised.
I was at that dinner table too, so I remember that.
He remembers it.
It was very highly awkward, right?
Yeah, I started crying as well.
And my wife looked at me. She's like, okay. She's like, you didn't see me looking at you? Like, shut up. I was like, no, you're looking at me like
next to you,
kicking you under the table.
That wasn't.
She was like that. She's like, and it was just like too late and whatever. I was like, oh no, I thought you just forgot. And I was just bringing up, yeah.
Nope.
World's best dad right here, Brian Deitch, everyone.
Shattered the one good memory she had of her missing dad. But
yeah,
at the
pretty
same
much.
time, it's like, yeah, you should get credit for it. She should know her dad's a scumbag.
Oh, I got credit now. Anyways, I felt so terrible in that particular moment. So, but like again, like it was a good intention, but whatever. Hey, remember, guys, we're recording a podcast right now, not Brian Deitch's life of being a bad parent.
If only Alibaba was there to scrub your comments before
Yes,
everyone heard
in real time.
In real time.
In real time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to read back the AI
I just wish
transcription of this.
Right. I just kind of wish, like, I know, especially with the names that we have right here.
Kobe's bad father opened a gift.
Yeah.
Except with the...
But seriously, like, we have to take these videos and they have to go to, what is that, Patreon or something, because this would be money in the bank.
That'd be hilarious, yeah. I'm going to start a Patreon now.
Yeah.
Might get one subscriber for lucky.
It'll be me.
I mean, Kobe. Yeah, Kobe will subscribe.
I will.
He's an all-around good
I
guy.
wouldn't lie to you about that.
You got money to burn, so.
Yeah. Yeah, living in California.
You live in the
and all.
Bay.
Yeah, sure.
No kids, no rabbits.
No rabbits. That's the big one. Yeah, no bunnies. To take
No
on
stray animals.
See about that.
Do you have some? You had the Shane Gillis move. You're like, yeah.
No, I don't have any stray animals. I do not.
For second
You
topic.
definitely don't want to call your wife a stray animal.
See, I was thinking about it, but I was like, nah, that's probably not. That's
Probably the
not
wrong
a
move
not a
to
good
do
move
here.
for a podcast. Yeah. So hey, what do you say we move on to the second topic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For our second topic, apps controlled by Chinese company ByteDance were banned here in the U.S. on January 19th due to failing to find a U.S. buyer as required by law. On January 20th, President Trump signed an executive order that restored TikTok in the United States for 75 days to give the Chinese company more time to find a buyer. Now, the president does not have the authority to stop the Department of Justice from enforcing laws, so companies like Apple and Google were cautious and did not restore the app to their app stores. However, newly appointed Attorney General Pam Bondi sent a letter to Apple stating they will not be fined, so Apple and Google are now free to restore the app to their app store. There were actually stories of people deleting their app off the phone after it was banned, and they were not able to reinstall them because it was removed from the app store. And then phones with the app still installed were selling for thousands of dollars in the secondary market because people were just that addicted to their TikTok.
So I use CapCut, which apparently is owned by ByteDance, to put together like little videos. And this, I think a couple days ago, I was putting together one for like LinkedIn. And if you don't have TikTok installed on your phone, you can say export to TikTok. And then it gives you the video without the little logo on there.
Yeah.
And I noticed yesterday, it was 2 days ago when I did that, like before it would take me to the App Store, it was like, this thing's been removed. But yesterday it was actually back on TikTok, but actually show up in the App Store.
Yeah. So that's how you knew it was back.
Yeah, that's how I knew it was back. Do you use it, Chris?
Yeah, I use CapCut.
Okay, so then you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't have TikTok installed, it prompts you to install it by taking you directly to the App Store, but you don't have to actually do anything with it. Little life hack if you don't want to pay the piper.
Yep.
We know that right now Kobe is actually scrolling on TikTok and not listening.
How'd you know? I'm actually looking on eBay for devices with TikTok still on them. I found one for $12,000 that was sold.
Oh my God!
Someone really, really wanted their TikTok.
It's unbelievable.
Insane.
So like at that point,
I can still get Fortnite on my iPad.
There you go.
At some point, it's easier to jailbreak and sideload it than to pay $12,000.
Seriously.
Unless you have more money than sense.
My son's got like an iPhone 12, I think, and I was like, I think for like Christmas, I was like, hey, do you want like a new iPhone? He's like, let me check. He's like, I don't think I can jailbreak it. So he's like, I'll just keep mine. He's like, he hasn't jailbroken it. Yeah.
Fair enough.
You guys have too much free time. Jeez.
Dude, there was like so many videos I would see on YouTube. So I think people that post on like TikTok that monetize, they also post like on all platforms to kind of take advantage of that.
Yeah, maximize
And there was like certain people were just like, you'll find me over here on YouTube. Like there's this one dude that I follow that does homesteading. very, very interesting guy. His dog's name is Minion, for anyone listening. We had the same feed. But then there's other random people who come on that were just like, they're taking us off and we're just so sad. I don't know what I'm going to do. It's so much money. It's like, ugh, do not watch ever again.
Yeah, I think everybody has a platform of choice because I prefer X now. So if I find somebody I want to follow, I just follow them on X. And then some people prefer Instagram, but I don't care for Meta. And then I haven't used Facebook in years.
What, Threads?
And then Threads. Threads is a giant dumpster fire. I will not use.
What about
Threads.
Blue Sky? Come on now.
Let's just keep
Filled
going.
with a certain kind of deviance. I won't say it out loud, but Brian knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah. What is your platform of choice, Cody?
I'm an X guy. I've used.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I've used that for since 2010, I think 11.
Oh
It's the
dang.
longest platform that I've.
Oh, look at this. You have 16 followers, bro. You're killing
Yeah,
it. Good job.
I'm having a good time on yeah.
But you are verified, so there's that.
Due to age, not competence.
You got the blue check.
You paid the
I
you got
$8
the
a
blue
month.
check.
I'm a paid
For Grok
a paid
alone,
user.
it's worth it.
Yeah, for Grok, and then removing some of the ads from your feed. I think it's worth it. All right, the second story we have to update you on. We have an update to a story we did 2 weeks ago on episode 194 about the Contech patient health monitor sending data to China. It turns out the devices do not have a Chinese backdoor, and the hard-coded IP address is used to mount an NFS drive share to run device updates. Now, it's flawed by design and a boneheaded update mechanism, but it's not malicious like CISA originally reported. NFS shares are notoriously insecure and opens the door for man-in-the-middle attacks, and something tells me this cheap health monitor does not have code integrity checks in it. Now, Kobe, working in the healthcare space, what do you think about the threat of sending patient health information overseas and insecure update mechanisms?
I think it's a violation of a lot of things, personally. I think just like hard coding an IP address and anything is interesting, but then if you do the DNS route, you open it to unauthenticated DNS attacks as well. So
yeah, so it's like, do you hijack the DNS or do you hijack
or do
BGP?
you hijack the exactly. It's really interesting. I have to read a little bit more about it, but I think that mounting an NFS drive to a hard coded IP, sending things through China is flawed by design for sure. Something that
what
should
could
show
possibly go wrong?
Exactly. Yeah, it's interesting. It tells me a cheap health.
Yeah, I'll never forget. Yeah, so there was always two, right? It was either, you always tell developers, do the hard-coded, or do an FQDM, please. And the other one, so you'd go through there, and then, of course, you'd always find 10net. But the other one that kind of threw me for a loop was 127. I wasn't really looking for that. And then in their dev instances, they would have just put the local host on there. I was like, damn it, you guys are so damn creative. Remember, you can also like bypass some proxy stuff back in the day by hijacking your host file.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
And then eventually, security caught wind of it, and then started locking that out from the local users.
Yeah, do you need admin rights to modify that now?
Well, and a lot of things are attaching to the actual NIC now as well, and not just putting in routes. It's like a hard coded thing that you can't really get around if you have to try really hard and have permission to.
So I wonder if
What's
all these.
that?
What'd you say?
You said it's bound to the NIC. Like, are you saying like malware or
The
enterprise
service?
tools?
So like a proxy service or a firewall or things. They're not. Like the olden days was putting a PAK file in a browser, right? So anything that wasn't, respecting the PAK file could just go out the NIC. But now things, like Zscaler Tunnel 2.0, it's actually listening on all of your NICs or all of your egress paths. But it's getting a little more creative.
The reason why that kind of perked me up a little bit is my son was doing something, and he was like, there's obviously scripts that are out there that can do these things, but he had written one to intercept ping and ARP traffic on a local network and just wrote it in Python. It was kind of interesting. I was like, oh, I didn't even know you could even do that. But he could, hijack it and respond back with whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
Like art poisoning.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Basically, I was like,
yeah.
Tons of tools that are already out there, but to write it net new is kind of an interesting concept. I don't know that I would have done that, but it was kind of, and it was lightweight, bro. It was like 30 lines of code to do that. It's like, this is kind of dumb. Like, yeah. I was like, that's very easy.
Unencrypted ARP traffic. There you go.
That was like Responder back in the day. Have you ever used that? Responder acts like an ARP proxy, and then it'll send an ARP. Like if someone sends an ARP request for like a SMB share or a CIFS share, it'll then respond that says, yeah, sign that NFS or CIFS share, and then it'll send like the Windows NTLM credentials to that box to try to steal the hash.
Wasn't it Cain Enable? Wasn't that the best one, I believe? With a GUI and everything?
Cain Enable. I'm trying to think if that was a password cracking or is that Jack the Ripper. I forget what was one of them.
I think Jack the Ripper was, yeah.
Yeah. So Cain Enable might have been the network packet sniffer too.
Yeah.
Man, you guys are old. Jeez.
We are old.
We are old. Jinx. Remember, I'm your dad, dude.
That's true. That's true.
Now, Kobe just spins up a Kali Linux CD. Not even a CD, a Kali Linux USB drive.
USB, yeah.
Yeah.
USB? What is it? CD-ROM.
Floppy drive, you guys. Yeah, this is right here, sitting right on my desk.
Oh.
If I wanted to find a USB drive, I would have to look hard for one.
It's really funny you mentioned that because I've been in a few calls the last few weeks doing endpoint stuff, and the customer is always like, yeah, I might have to overnight one on Amazon. I don't I don't think I have any of those.
I have 3 right here.
There you go.
I actually have more USB drives within reach than I do guns for once in a while.
Wow. I have a BMW one that they gave to you whenever you buy a Beamer, and they load all the like the advertising stuff on it. Like, welcome
nice
to your
flex.
car. Oh, I don't have a BMW. I inherited this from someone.
You inherited it.
I wish.
Dude, I have. Let's plug something real quick on the notion of cool stuff that whatever. There's a company called Vanish, I think, and they have it's to for concealed carry, and you can. What's really nice about this is like I can wear it with like gym shorts, and just like it's Velcro goes around your stomach. You can either wear it like as a fanny pack kind of thing, or on the hip or on your back, but it's very versatile and like it doesn't scratch you up. And
you do strike me as somebody that would wear a fanny pack.
Ryan wears a fanny pack.
We're asking all of my hundos. Whatever, I would wear a fanny pack. But like it's really like it's very convenient because then you can just wear it. Like I very rarely would take my gun if I'm like I'll always have a gun, but I won't always have it on me. But like now, like going anywhere, like it's
always on you.
Part of the attire. Like it's great.
You go jogging with that? Is that like your weight belt?
So you can go jogging. Like I can run with it, so I can take it to the gym in theory, right, and be able to run and just stays right on your midsection.
Oh, thank goodness the firearm of choice there you have is very, very sweat resistant. Otherwise, it'd get rusty pretty fast.
Right? Yeah.
If you go jogging with it in Arizona.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? All that corrosive sweat.
No thanks. To clean it anytime you use it.
The three of us, including Glenn, the other day we were talking about, we know some people, because we had a podcast guest cancel on us because he said, oh, my personal laptop's being used by somebody else, so I can't join the podcast. And we were saying, like, we actually know people that work in security that do not have a personal laptop or one personal laptop. And I was saying, like, from where I'm standing, I could grab like 6 different personal devices just from where I'm standing.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Like talking about USB drives. Like
7.
How can you work in security and not have like multiple machines for like lab and other stuff?
8.
But anyways, first world problem for sure.
8 personal devices.
Yeah. I only have 1. Yeah, like 4.
Or a third topic, in a somewhat hilarious way to fight so-called romance scams, formerly known as pig butchering scams, the country of Thailand or Thailand, as they say in The Hangover, has cut the power, internet, and fuel to 3 areas in Myanmar known to be hosting scam call centers. Some of these scam call centers are thought to house 10,000 people or more. Now, many of them are kidnapped or human trafficked into these scam compounds and forced to make scam calls and messages or face beatings or worse. Now, it's one thing to cut the internet service providers. Scammers could just find another ISP to look the other way. But if you cut the power and fuel for heating, that could send the scam operation into disarray. Myanmar has been a hotbed of scam call centers and has gained the wrath of China, as many of the people trafficked into these scam call centers are Chinese nationals. Since the government fell during a military coup, the ruling junta has relied on money from these scam call centers, but still rely on neighboring Thailand for electricity, internet, and fuel.
Dang, I bet you can turn off the power like that. They just kind of scatter like cockroaches, huh?
Yeah.
Or run generators
So, like,
24/7.
outside disrupting, I don't like the overall operation of it. I don't think that you're saving anybody. And on a side note, if China is actually trying to take care of their people outside of China, that's actually kind of cool. I didn't think they'd really care. There's like so many of them.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right?
in this case, they care. They're trying to get them back. Yeah, they've launched like they sent in, I don't know if it was Chinese special forces or like the equivalent of their SWAT teams, but they've sent the Chinese military into these compounds to get their people back.
I always think it's interesting. There's a YouTuber that goes like on months at a time and will slowly start calling each individual, like clicking on scams and learning the insides and outs of a scam center. And will like get into their cameras and like get into their phones and like remote desktop their screens. I think so. Yeah.
Scammer Payback.
Yeah.
The guy with the blue hair.
And yes, that's it. That is him.
Yeah.
And it's always interesting to see how they function. Like people are friendly to each other internally, and then they get on a call and they just completely change. And it's really interesting. But
It seems like that's like just clickbait. Like I can't if it was really that easy to infiltrate someone's IP system, their IP cameras and everything, and take over the network. I don't know.
Yeah.
You would think that these scam call centers don't have the best OPSEC and best security. They're definitely not Zscaler customers.
I was going to say, I'm sure
Well, let's
that they
do it
are.
then.
Yeah. Well,
Let's do it. Why not? Right? If
it's that
Yeah,
easy.
'cause he does some pretty
Is-
cool
yeah.
stuff. Like everything has to be in a VM, so it's isolated. And then they use like AnyDesk, and then there's I can't remember exactly what he does, but the scammer will request control of his machine, and then he'll request control of the scammer's machine, and sometimes they click yes, and then he can plant some a backdoor or some malware on their machine and download all their files, and it's a good service that he does. That's scamming the scammers type thing, and he makes money by putting good content on YouTube for us to watch.
do you think he's like 1 in 10?
1 in 10 for what?
Like
Success rate?
Like success rate.
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
Just like any other social media influencer, like you only see the wins. Yeah. Like you don't see the hundreds of times he calls and someone hangs up on him. But I mean, that's still a win. Getting these more time he spends with these scammers is time they can't spend scamming elderly people. And they've had some level of success getting some of these scam call centers shut down. I think due to massive public pressure that they've at least been forced to move. So when you at least disrupt their operations, you might not get them arrested, but that's imposing cost on them, and then that's more time that they have to take to move instead of scamming people.
Yeah. I was reading too recently that Microsoft has started to take action on places that like CDNs are delivering Microsoft logos to, or certain logos that are being ripped from a Microsoft web page, and they're actually taking action on those other sites and seeing if they're scam related or phishing related and things like that, which is kind of interesting to try and combat some of the scams. But like the Microsoft help desk
on the
phones and things like that.
On the legal side, that's I wouldn't say novel, but it's a clever way of how they've been able to take down a lot of these botnets and scam call centers, because they just sue them based on copyright laws. Like, hey, you're using our logo without permission.
Exactly.
And the judge says, yep, you're right. Take down the website.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah.
doing some good in the world. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, like I think somebody said it, that if they cut the power, maybe they'll switch over to generators. If they cut the internet, maybe they'll switch over to Starlink or some other, Chinese Starlink, whatever that is. And then, sell fallback. But yeah, just again, imposing costs on these organizations means that they can't feed their 10,000 scam callers, and
Exactly.
they'll either have to let them go or release them or do something.
Yeah. For sure. Brian,
At
you've
least
been awfully
something's
quiet.
being done about it.
Execute all human traffickers. I say
There you go.
You know?
I don't think that's an unpopular opinion.
That's what I'm doing. When I retire, I'm just gonna go
Maybe
protect
like
people.
what's that guy? Tim Kennedy, the MMA fighter that went to Argentina to hunt down all these Nazis that escaped there after World War II. Maybe the Nazi hunter.
Some little bit of vigilante justice. But wait, let me be clear, because I just said execute all human traffickers. And then I also followed up with, that's what I want to do. What I would like to do is find the human traffickers and then bring them to justice through the legal process.
I just want to talk to them. I just want to talk to them. That's all I want to do.
And
I just
5
wanna
minutes
talk to
alone
them.
in a room.
I don't know. I feel like after watching like the Sound of Freedom, I'd be like, I'm all in. Sign me up. Let's go free some people.
I just want to talk about Vanish. That's all. Just let me talk about Vanish.
Yeah. We're talking crypto here, guys. Don't worry about
Fun.
it.
Crypto is something they probably know a lot about, because a lot of these scam call centers operate with these crypto scams, the ones that you get random text messages from people and they strike up a conversation and then they try to get you to invest in their next best thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
For our last topic, and it'll be a rotating topic every week, this week we're going to talk about what, with the advent of AI and better technology, what profession do you think will get wiped out in the next 5 to 10 years?
Help desk.
Yeah, I think help desk. I put entry level support, because you're always going to have like these weird level 2 or level 3 issues where you need humans. But I worked in support. I sold a flash drive that had a password on it, the world's most secure flash drive. And 9 out of 10 times someone would call and says, "Hey, I forgot my password. What can I do?" And you could completely automate that process. Or, my files got deleted. How do I delete my files? Yep. AI can do that.
Absolutely.
I think every chief technology evangelist will be completely without a job. So
It's just going to be
I agree. Yeah.
AI up there on the stage. It'll be like that hologram. Remember it was a Coachella, they had a hologram of Tupac, and then like all the people that were high on E got really freaked out because they thought Tupac was back alive.
oh, look at you saying that all people at what's that thing called? Coachella are on E.
I know, very controversial opinion.
But what do you call it? It's called rolling, right?
Rolling, tripping balls.
No, like I remember I had a roommate that she was always
A rolling E.
on ecstasy, and she would call us like, "I'm rolling right now. Let me touch your pants." I was like, "All right," and then she just sits there and touches my knee. I'm like, I don't understand what the draw here is, folks. Thought this was going somewhere and just being pet like a dog.
Yeah, we'll have a hologram Brian Deitch delivering keynotes at SKO now.
Would love that.
But I will have 6 fingers on one hand and 2 on the other, so you'll know it's not actually me.
Yeah.
Will we though? Seen your feet. Have seen your feet.
I think gig workers. I put gig workers here, and that's like Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, DoorDash drivers, all these delivery
that's an
drivers.
interesting one.
Because once Waymo, once Robotaxi come out, they're not going to need these people anymore.
No, I think there's will be a certain percentage of the population that's doing DoorDash or Uber Eats that's going to be like, I don't want to get past my front door. You need to bring it. And then the Waymo taxi or whatever, Uber Eats robot, right? It can only pull up to your driveway and it rolls down the window. And they'll just be too lazy. So you'll have a certain population that will actually guarantee like delivery going through stairs or elevators to your front door. I don't think they're going to get there with all.
But you know what will do that, Brian? Optimus. The Optimus robot will do that.
There you go. Perfect.
Maybe, right?
It'll drive the car too.
We got some time.
Yeah. So you'll have the self-driving robotaxi deliver the food to your driveway. Then you'll have the Optimus robot carry the food from your driveway to your doorbell.
You know what's going to happen? All those people are like, "Oh, I didn't get my order," or someone took a bite of my hamburger. Like, Optimus doesn't eat. I want to hear nonsense. You're not getting any money back.
They'll record.
Can you imagine that? Like, just walk outside and Optimus has hijacked one of your outlets on the perimeter of the house to charge. Like, what the hell are you doing
power.
here, dude?
Like drop kick this robot.
Yeah, that's an interesting theory.
Yes.
I was gonna say there's one. I think there is sort of a caveat to this because, like, when you think of developed countries like Japan, and I haven't been to Japan firsthand, but I'm told everything is extremely clean. Like, you can eat off the floor of a subway bathroom in Japan. Everything is just so clean. It's just because culturally, like, people don't act that way in Japan. But of course, here in the U.S. or specific cities, you have a bunch of jerks that try to like block these Waymo cars and like vandalize them.
Yeah,
you're always gonna get that. And then, a human driver can like dodge people and like get out of there. But either that, or you just have to train the AI better how to dodge these hooligans that are trying to mess with your self-driving car.
Yeah, to just floor it.
Yeah.
I do think that on the flip side, what jobs will thrive would be around. I do think that cybersecurity will always be a thing, or AI experts. But I do wonder if we'll eventually have all nations decide that, there are certain guardrails around AI. But I don't know that we'll ever get to that agreement. I don't even know how you get to that agreement.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll ever get two countries to agree on what the proper guardrails are. We have some countries in Europe saying posting offensive memes should be punishable by jail, and then you have freedom of speech absolutionists that says it's our right to post these memes. Like, you're not going to get an international coalition to agree on certain things.
But at one point, do we at least agree on something? Like, maybe not that, but like
USB-C. We agreed on that.
We didn't agree on that. It was forced upon us by the European Union.
But you know what I mean?
I'm okay with it.
And I think even if we do come to an agreement, I think everyone's going to do whatever they want back behind closed doors. And that's the part that freaks me out the most.
Yeah, pretty much. I think barista, I don't have that written down here, but I was thinking about it. I think barista, because like if either of you have gone through SFO Airport, there is a robot that makes coffee, like a robot vending machine. And it's not like this Swiss Miss hot chocolate add hot water type coffee. Like, it's an actual robot that will steam your milk, pour the espresso, make latte art.
Yeah.
And it's a robot. You just put money in it and it gives you your coffee. You don't need a barista anymore.
Yeah. There's one on the...
Once you can scale that up and have the automation there, that I think baristas is one of those things that might be a dying art.
Yeah. There's one in like Fisherman's Wharf as well in San Francisco. It's like a full autonomous. Yeah.
I think if you are a technologist and you're the front end developer of that kiosk, I think that's going to be the job that you should have, because ordering a latte, venti, I don't know what you can call it, that's easy. But I guarantee you, my daughter goes, I want a
non-fat, sugar-free,
venti, sugar-free,
with extra foam,
blended with soft top
and a kiss.
Yeah. And a nice warm hug from grandma. And then the machine's like, what do you mean a warm hug from grandma? I was like, see, AI, you're too dumb.
I don't have a grandma.
I was trying to make a joke. You didn't laugh.
Well, that's what I mean. In 5 to 10 years, I think we may have perfected that and flesh out all these edge cases.
Yeah.
And
I just want a robot that'll wash me in the shower. Not sexually, guys. Just, get those hard to reach spots. You know what I'm saying?
Laziness.
Back scratcher.
Yes. Yeah.
I was at a Zscaler
event,
and they had it was at a hotel, and they had a robot bartender, and this was like a minimum viable product V1. Like, it can make a Cosmo, it can make a Kamikaze, but if you give it some super complicated thing, probably not. And it was a little slow, but I mean, again, 5 to 10 years, the advent of robotics, the advent of AI, Like, I think we can get there and replace bartenders. Like,
Dude,
how hard is it to pour a beer, right?
True, but you can mess with it, right? You guys remember the movie Dogma?
Is that Kevin Smith?
It's a great movie. Yeah, I think it was Kevin Smith.
Yes.
Yeah, and like he's like, I'll have a holy bartender. And he's like, what's a holy bartender? And just opens up, starts shooting him. Can you imagine, like, you do that to the robot, and the robot like pulls out a knife, busts a cat. Like, oh, this.
It's real.
I
it's
thought it was
controlled
going
by
to
a
be
human.
fun. It's so smart.
There's a Royal Caribbean has the bionic bar in a few of their ships, which is like the whole ceiling is like all different liquors and types of alcohol, and then like the whole bottom part is all like the mixers, and there's 2 robot arms that create all the drinks, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and they can create quite a bit.
So I got to tell you, that's a good investment, because anytime I've ever done a cruise, like if you've ever done a cruise, like usually you walk in and whoever's there is just going to be there every night that you're there for 2 weeks, right? And so if you slip them like $100 bill, all of a sudden, your free drinks that you shouldn't be. They'll make you, number one, they'll make you anything. And if you don't have like the unlimited drink pass, they're just like, they have amnesia. Like, oh, you're supposed to have a wristband? All I know is you gave me money, right? And here's my wife and here's my kids. You just take care of them. Then it's a no-brainer. But that image right there is insane.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's on the quantum of the seas. So,
did you guys see cool. the new Microsoft silicone chip?
Oh, the new Matter. They created a new form of Matter.
Computing, the quantum chip.
Yeah, with 1,000 qubits and 2 square inches. Like, I don't know if I believe it. A lot of fluff there.
I saw a meme about that said, Microsoft will literally create a new form of Matter rather than fix Microsoft Teams.
That's offensive. That should be punishable by jail time.
That is true, though.
It is true. Teams is awful.
But the new Teams.
I was with
Come on.
Wait, is it Teams with the new icon, or is it called New Teams?
It's called
I get both on my computer.
And then there's the new Outlook.
Oh man. Yeah. New Coke. You think of New Coke, yeah. Oops. Yeah. So back to the topic here. I think I put bank teller here because most of the stuff, like most of the stuff that you go into a bank for, you could do via
an ATM
or mobile app now.
Right.
There are some select few that still have to go in and rely on a teller, but that population I think will get smaller and smaller, and I think eventually you won't have to have physical bank tellers anymore.
Yeah, I feel like that's already on the way out. Like I've in the last 5 years, I think I've been in the bank twice, so that's a good call.
Yeah, even when I go to a bank, like if I have to get physical cash, I just use ATM. Like I never interact with the bank employee if I don't have to, or
Deposit
because I don't
checks
have to.
Mobilely, all that, yeah.
You did make a good call out with real estate agents. I'm with you on that. I know you haven't said it yet. I think it's probably your next one you're going to go to, but I believe you on that. That was my first instinct, was like, oh, yeah.
There was
so long, real estate agents.
There was a Shark Tank episode, actually, that was, so like the biggest thing right now is you have to have a real estate agent to go and open the little lockbox, right? Like they have to be a part of the app. They go to it, they tap their phone, and it opens the key. There was this product on Shark Tank that I thought was really genius, and it actually gives us the ability to walk up to houses and open the lockbox if you're approved to be allowed into the house. So you don't necessarily need an agent with you, which I thought was pretty interesting. Completely automates it. But.
Yeah, it's probably just a lockbox with an app. Like
that's exactly what it is.
Similar like an August lock or something where you can add authorized users there. But I mean, like you think of like last time I bought a house was 4 years ago. And you think of like the value that they bring. Like, I mean, it is worth the while. Like commissions are always negotiable, but they do provide some level of value because we'll give the agent, this is our criteria, 3 bedrooms, good school district in these cities. And then like, oh, this one just came up. Oh, this one just came up. This one just came up. But then I think now with AI agents, you could feed the same criteria in there and then it'll give you those results. Now, the real estate agent used to like drive us around like all these houses and schedule the open houses. But I think with the advent of AI agents, they could do that. That it's the open house has a schedule. The AI agent knows which ones you want to hit. It knows how far they are. It knows what time you're free, and it can create this like map for you to just drive to all these open houses yourself.
What is that hedge fund? I don't know if it's a hedge fund, but what was that one company that's buying up all the houses?
BlackRock.
How about we just stop BlackRock from buying all the houses? And I think that's the most worthwhile step, number one.
Yeah, that was a proposal. Like when they were talking about executive orders to control housing prices, somebody, I forget who it was, it might have been Vivek. He just says, let's just sign an executive order. If you have more than $500 million in assets under management, you cannot buy a single family house. Like there's no reason a hedge fund should be buying a house unless it's to drive up the price for everybody.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Translators, I think, is another one with LLM getting a lot better. Like Google Translate, I remember doing my Spanish homework using Google Translate, and it was like obvious you use Google Translate to
do the right punctuation
to
tenses.
do it. Yeah, right. Yeah, and like I was reading, so translation is part of it, but you need like cultural significance. You need to know what words are offensive in other languages like that. I think that's a very small percentage of it because I read that Netflix already, they're firing all their human translators and relying on AI translators for all their subtitles now.
Oh wow!
And like you don't need cultural significance. You don't need to worry that much about offensive language when you're just doing subtitle translation. But I think that's one of those things that it will get better. We have things like deep learning now, and then that can learn about things like cultural significance, tone, and idioms, and things in other languages. So I think translators, I think, is going to be maybe a bit of a lost art soon.
Wow, that's actually really interesting. An interesting thought. Yeah, not a math teacher. They can't do math.
For the longest time, they couldn't count the number of R's in strawberry. So GPT 4.0 finally got it, but for a long time. So, all right, well, we continue to get great comments about our dad joke of the week.
Dad joke of the week.
This week, our guest Kobe is up.
Oh, dear. All right. Why aren't dogs allowed in bars?
Why is that, Kobe?
Why the long face? I'm sorry. No,
Because they can't control their liquor.
Oh, gosh. I told him that joke when he was 3.
A true dad joke. All right, to wrap things up, Apple bends the knee again and censors Apple Intelligence. TikTok is back in the App Store. Chinese health monitors are not sending patient health information to China yet. Thailand pulls the literal plug on scam call compounds. And long live the bank teller. That's all I have for this week. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. You can find us on LinkedIn. Links will be in the description. Follow us on Instagram at PEBCAK Podcast. Thank our listeners and subscribers. Rate us 5 stars in iTunes Store and Spotify, and left us a review. We appreciate you all spreading the word to help grow the show. The best way to find us is search for the PEBCAK Podcast on your favorite podcast listening app. My co-host Brian Deach and our guest Kobe Caputo. I'm Chris Louie. Thanks for listening. We'll see you all next weekend. As always, have a nice day.
Bye, Schmidlisha.
Have a nice day.